Uh, so that
Oh,
should,
do I have to just stop sharing? Do I have to stop
you
sharing?
shouldn't have to. You
Mm.
should still have so usually when I share my screen, those controls come up the top. Uh,
Yes, you're right. Yeah, I can see it. Cool. And I
yeah,
can see the chat. Amazing. Okay,
cool.
great. And if I do that, I can't see the chat. That's fine.
If you put your mouse just at the top of the screen, does it drop down for you? No, okay.
No, but it's fine because then I can just go like this and then I can see the chat. That's all good.
Cool.
Okay, no problem.
Nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
thanks.
That's all right. Amazing. Oh, we're early. A minute to spare.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. I just was like, am I going to be fumbling when I get on here and people join and I'm like, I don't know how to share screen and do all these things. So thank you.
No, no, that is all good, all good. Hey, Linda, how are you?
I'll just stop sharing.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, good. We've got all the all the what do you call them?
The autopilot's entering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that intentional? Do people do that intentionally?
Well, some do, but sometimes I think what happened is when you set up those note-taking apps, it just joins every meeting that you accept, like by
Yeah.
default. So,
Yeah. Okay. I got to
yeah,
take it off if they don't want it. Yeah. Yeah. I
exactly.
haven't used it.
No, me either. So usually on our non-recorded calls, like our networking calls, I just boot them all out. But for expert masterclasses like this, I'll leave them in because then
Yeah.
they'll send the recording to the person. So that's all
Yeah.
good. Hey, Linda. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Joe. We might give people like another minute or two. Just
Awesome.
yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh,
Tanya is somewhere nice.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, you just unmute Tanya. I don't know if you're talking out loud.
Yeah, sorry. I was just like noticing I've got this split down my head, which is a bit
it
concerning.
actually just looks like the sun shining on you.
That's definitely not what it looks like outside right now, but it's all good.
We can pretend.
We'll work with that.
AI's for.
That's it. So good. We've got Angela and Faith. Hello, hello. So good. We were just saying we'll give everyone an extra minute or two and then we will kick off. And the recording's going, so that's good. That's done. Awesome. All right. Well, we might kick off, I think. So, welcome. I'm very excited to have the fabulous Sheree from One Roof here with us today. Sheree is probably the best person on the planet. One of my favorite women in business. So, I have known Sheree for years and years now. So even prior to Spark, obviously, I've had Scrunch, my other business, for a decade, and Sheree has always been such an inspiration and supporter of me as a woman in business, but to so many other women in business as well. Sheree also, I'm pretty sure, went through the very first iteration of Spark when it used to be like this crazy 12-month program that we first launched. which is so cool. And Sheree has built one of the most impressive networks, communities for women in business in Australia. And so I'm so excited to have her present today the expert masterclass for this month, because I know I personally will learn a lot from Sheree, but everyone else will too. And now I really am excited about this topic because I believe that community is where it's at, not just for businesses who are built around a membership community, but also any business who wants to make any kind of impact. Your community and your customers are absolutely everything, and putting them at the heart of everything you do is good business and will help you grow. So, and oh my God, I nearly forgot. We have a little exciting collaboration news that we will announce after, of course, the amazing presentation as well. So stay tuned for that. And over to you, Sheree. Can't wait to hear what you've got today.
Thank you, Danielle. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for that beautiful introduction. And we very clearly speak the same language. And yes, it's an honor, as I've totally been part of Spark right from the very beginning. So it's been beautiful watching you grow this amazing community. Nice to see you all here. Tanya, yes, I know the Community Collective very well. I haven't done their course, but I highly recommend it. And it's great that you're going through it, and we can talk more about that if people are interested. So I am going to share my screen. I've left time at the end if people want to ask questions, but like also just ask throughout, because, you know, it's nice when it's interactive. So today we're talking about building community for business success. I am going to go through, I would love to hear who's in the room. So I'll get you to introduce yourselves in the chat in a minute. I will share a bit more about myself. I'm going to talk about what community is and the different kind of types of community in a business sense. And obviously the benefits of community building, like why waste your time putting in energy, money, resources into building community? What will that do for your business? I'll talk about OneRoof as a case study, and then I'll share some tips on how to get started in building a business. And then just generally, if you feel like that and building a community, if you're feeling like yours is a bit flat and you need to re-energize it, I'll give lots of tips on building a thriving community. And then there'll be plenty of time for Q&A. So firstly, I would love to know who is here. I'm going to keep going between on and off my screen so that I can, and now I can't see that chat function, so I'll stop sharing. So who is here? Can you just share who you are, what you're working on, and have you got community in your business right now? You can either just answer yes or no, or give me a sentence if you like. I mean, it's a pretty small group as well, so if anyone wants to come off chat, you can also feel free to do that. Come off mute to chat. Tanya, Angela, Linda. Awesome. Thanks, Linda. That's beautiful. You haven't got community. Cool. Good to know. Angela, beginning stages of building community. Tanya, creating community. Awesome. Amazing. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. All right, let's go back to my share screen. So a bit about me. So I am Sheree. I'm the founder of OneRoof. I started OneRoof 9 years ago. I left my career in corporate law to start OneRoof because I just became fixated and obsessed on the barriers that women face in the business world, whether it was in the corporate world, and then just realizing the power of entrepreneurship for women with the right kind of networks and resources. And so I've kind of been on that journey ever since. I am often affectionately known as the queen of community. So, talking about community like I am today is just everything I love to talk about. I am literally obsessed with supporting women in business. It's like, when you find your purpose and you feel so in alignment, you don't even know why anymore. It's just you wake up every day and you're like, that's what I have to do. I don't know, that just is what feels right. I'm also a mother of two, but I live in a house of 9. So there's 4 adults and 5 kids. There's a nice little photo down here in the corner. There is one of the kids missing, but it's from my daughter's birthday a few weeks ago. So yes, totally outside of work, which is always fun and colorful and chaotic. There's a very chaotic and fun and colorful home environment going on as well. And I always make jokes that it's like I've got the business, one roof, and then I live with this village under one roof in my home. So every part of my life is community and a village and under one roof. So I want to talk about what is community firstly, and I guess what community isn't. So the difference between an audience and community. An audience is one-to-one interaction, and that is where you have your marketing. You know, you might put a post out on social media and maybe people comment or like it or reshare it, but those people aren't really interacting with each other except maybe a like or a comment. So that's your kind of, you know, that audience building is your marketing strategy. Community is very different to that. Community is where it requires and relies on its members to collaborate, contribute, and participate. And I'm using members, but members, it could be customers, it could be clients, it could be anyone who kind of interacts with your vision and missions, but I'll just use members. So it requires much more than a member liking or sharing a post. It's actually about how they connect with one another and support one another and kind of believe in the bigger vision of, you know, what the community stands for. Then within a business, there's kind of 2 types of community. Or first, let me just say, community has been around for a very long time. Obviously, we're like social beings. We're all about community. There's always been this concept of clubs, you know, places where people go to socialize, whether it's, you know, to play cards, to play golf, whether there's like clubs you pay for to, you know, sit and have lunch and connect with other people, play bingo. It's like clubs and community has been around for a long time. Then, of course, with the advent of the internet and this kind of growth of online businesses, there's this new kind of form of community, which is the online version of community building. And I would say for your business, there's kind of 2 different types of community building. One is the way that Danielle and I both do it, which we would call community as a service. So like instead of software as a service, it's community as a service. So a CAS. That idea is that Danielle at like Spark and One Roof literally sell community. You buy into the business because you want access to the community. You pay for the membership because you want to connect with the people in that community. You want the resources, you want the benefit, you share a similar vision and mission, you know, shared values of the people in that community. So you're paying for community. The other way is where you're just building community for your business, which seemingly would be more relevant to each of you. Maybe Tanya, maybe you're, anyway, we can talk more about it, but I'll give an example. So I think Keep It Cleaner is a really good example of a business that it doesn't sell community, it sells an app. They have an app for fitness. So you pay for the app and then you get access to thousands of videos where you can do at-home workouts. And then there's also recipes for food and meditations and all these other things. But around that, they're doing a lot of community building. They do their marketing and they do their social media and all of that, but they also do a lot of community building. So everybody who is a user of the app gets access to their closed Facebook group. And this is where you can post updates of, you know, you're using the app, or here are my success stories, or, you know, things like that. They also do lots of challenges. And then they use the Facebook group where it's like, who's doing this 21-day whatever challenge? And then everybody's interacting and talking about that. And then they often do run clubs where you're actually meeting up in person with users in order to, run, which is kind of part of the whole ethos of the business. So those things are not money generating, like they're not selling the run club. It's just community building, and it's a way of bringing their community together to keep them strong and connected so that they sign up to the app or they continue to stay on the app. Cool. So the next thing is, what are the benefits of community? Just bear with me. Oh, actually, I can see the chat now. Cool. So, what are the benefits of community? Before I go into what I would say the benefits are, does anyone want to share in the chat what you think? Like, why waste time, money, resources, invest? You've got your marketing strategy. Why also have a community building strategy?
I might just unmute myself while we're waiting for people to drop in the chat. But I think community is really interesting for a lot of businesses because it's like a word of mouth style advertising as well. So like your example with Kick or Keep It Cleaner, when I see the community come together to go for a run or go to an event, or it like gives me FOMO. And I know that buying the app wouldn't get me access to the community, but there's something in that energy that makes me want to be a part of the thing that all of these people are a part of. And realistically, you don't know who is paid and unpaid that's in that community, but you're like, I want to buy the app. I want to be part of a business that actually creates this energy. So yeah, I almost think that there is a marketing element to building community as well.
Absolutely agree. And it's incredible for content. It's incredible for building hype. It's incredible for, reaching new clients, customers, members, because you're seeing it and you're kind of wanting to buy into that because it looks great. So yes, I agree, Danielle, so many benefits. And then I'm just having a look at what other people have said. And also Anushi and Joe, great to hear from you. Anushi, interesting. You've got a 560 person Facebook group. We can talk about that. Linda, you extends the insight. You can learn from everyone. Absolutely. Anushi, feedback, shared vision, mutual benefits, to name a few. Yes. Tanya, as a way of building relationships with your brand as well as each other. Great. Linda, creates a more emotive experience. Absolutely. Joe, relationship network, community sharing. Absolutely. I pretty much cover off most of what you've said. I think exactly it is not just to attract customers and members, but also to retain them. Like, how much more likely are you to be loyal and to share with word of mouth and to be, totally bought in to the vision and mission of what you're offering if you're a member who is getting access to the community and connecting with others within that community. It's that concept of, Simon Sinek and that very well-known thing of people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So it's people being able to connect with the founders and being able to connect with the why and the underlying purpose of your business and what you stand for. And then a couple of people did allude to this, and I think this is crucial, is it allows you to get a lot of customer feedback, like almost in real time. You've got these really highly engaged people constantly able to give you feedback. You can reach out to them and ask them, you can test a new idea or offering, and I'll talk about how we've done that through OneRoof. And so you've got really quick, easy ways to test and get new products and offerings out there. And also, as Danielle said, a great way to generate content and for your community members to actually share themselves. Like, what a great way to build hype rather than it just being you sharing on your socials. And Faith is on here today, who is our head of marketing, and she is incredible in every way. And she will tell you that so much of the content that she does for OneRoof comes from our members. Like, it's the member wins, it's the member events, it's, highlighting our member wins in our member newsletter. Like, this is creating all of this talk and content that you wouldn't otherwise be getting, and by really building that strong community feel. Yes, like Linda said, it's a listening channel. Awesome. Okay. Does anyone have anything else they want to ask or share to that? Otherwise, I'll keep going. Cool. I'll keep going, but I'll keep checking the chat. Okay, so let's talk about OneRoof as an example. So I started OneRoof 9 years ago, as I said. I started it as a co-working business because I saw the gap of there not being enough kind of programs and offerings specific to women entrepreneurs. And I also saw this like rising growth in co-working spaces around the world. And so I was like, cool, let's bring the two together and create co-working spaces for women where, the whole design of the space is about women, the program supports women. And yeah, and I did that for quite a few years with great success. We had a space in Melbourne that was our flagship space. We had 180 tenants in the space, and yeah, we were there for 4 years with a lot of success. I managed to raise investors from a group of amazing women investors. And then COVID hit and everything kind of fell over. And I was under a lot of pressure to make some decisions. Of course, I was pregnant at the time. And so I made this decision to return all the capital to investors. Like I'd had these big plans to set up spaces for women all around Australia. Canned that, return the capital to investors and move to digital. And since then, over the last three and a bit years, we've been building One Roof as a digital online business membership and community for women. We've onboarded over 1,500 members in that time. We've built a community of over kind of 35,000 across our database and socials. And in the last year, we rebuilt our portal and our platform. So it's now this all-in-one member portal. So when somebody signs up to One Roof, they get access to the portal where they get access to masterclasses, regular networking events, a directory of experts, and you can book a free call with every single one of the experts, recordings of all of our masterclasses. We have ambassadors running in-person meetups all around Australia. We have a Facebook group. We have chat channels where you can share wins and resources and, challenges. And coaching calls and like a full suite of kind of offerings. And I guess I launched One Roof because I saw that there was a problem and there was a gap in the market. Over the years, there's been lots of players come out and lots of people doing events and memberships and co-working and community and different things for women entrepreneurs, which I think is amazing and needed. And so then over the years, we've been constantly iterating and kind of changing the business and the offering based on what we see the community needs. But yes, it comes back to what I was saying earlier, that we literally sell community as a service. That is what people are buying into. I thought this was just a nice image I took from the member portal of some of the members. So I want to talk through if you're like everybody said, they either don't have community, haven't started building community yet, or at the early stages, or you have a Facebook group that's, you feel like needs a bit of reinvigoration. So I just want to talk through some of the key thoughts and questions and things that we've learned over the years that I think is pretty crucial to building a successful community for your business. I will keep checking the chat. So if you have questions throughout, just put it in there and I'm happy to pause because there's a lot of info I'm going to share here. So firstly is the goals and values. Like obviously when you start a community, you want to have a bit of an idea of what's the goal, like how many members do we want to get in the first year and the second year and the third year, and what is the impact we want to have, and what kind of ROI do we want to see on the business if you're building community to build your business. You want to set some goals and targets so you're not just like putting something out there and waiting to see what works without knowing what success could look like. It's also really important to have your values and to understand and kind of share them, because the values will seep through your community regardless of whether you define them or not. It's pretty common that it'll come from the founders and the team and it'll trickle through and you'll just get a feel and a vibe. It's like so many of our members are like, I don't know what it is about One Roof. It's just you're generous, you're honest, you're down to earth. And so over the years, we're like very clearly, these are the kind of values that we believe in and hold true. And so for us, it's very much about targeting ambitious women who, want to support other women entrepreneurs, but who are also honest and real about the journey. And we kind of share a lot of that ourselves. The next thing is how you're going to differentiate yourself in the market. And that might be something that continually changes and evolves over time if you see other players out there that kind of come up. And you want to, like we spent a lot of time at the start looking at who was already in the market here, who was overseas. At the time, Dreamers and Doers was a women's networking group in the US that we really followed. They were doing really well. And it's really good to work out, what are they doing? What do I want to take from that? And then what do I want to do differently? So really make sure you map out what's going on in the market and know what you're going to kind of pick and choose from others and how yours is going to be different. Then it's, are you charging for your community, or is it a free offering because you want to bring people to the service or product that you have? So you want to think about, am I charging people for it, or is it free and I just want to get people to the app or product or service? If you're charging for it, I think it's important to look at what else is out there and be price competitive, but also to have tiers. And this wasn't something that we did in the beginning. So this was something I learned in hindsight. I think tiers are really valuable and allow for people at different stages to enter on different levels. And, you know, over the years, we've realized that we've kind of lumped early stage entrepreneurs with established entrepreneurs under one roof, which is nice. But then we started to realize they kind of want to go into rooms with their fellow entrepreneurs at similar stages. So I think tiers was something that I would have done differently, but something that we're learning now. And we have actually brought in another tier. Your tech stack. So what I was, firstly, you want to think about, I mean, now it's like so easy to build community without needing developers or without having to spend a lot of money. There's tons of free or very cheap platforms out there that you can use. You can simply create a free Facebook group, or you can, you know, go a bit deeper and use some kind of platform, community-focused platform. There's so many. We used to use MemberSpace. We now use Mighty Networks. We looked at Disco. We looked at Circle. There's heaps. And I would just say, if you're just getting started, keep it really simple, like keep it lean. A free Facebook group might be the thing you need for now until you decide on the next thing. Facebook is probably dying. So, you know, that's something we're thinking about, that over time people want to be somewhere else. It could just be Slack channels. We actually, when we first started One Roof digitally, we had a Squarespace website, and we literally just had a password protected area on the website, and our members got access to everything through that. Super simple. Like, we didn't need to pay anything extra. We're now on Mighty Networks. It's much more sophisticated, and it's allowed for us to have this kind of all-in-one offering. So it's like a person joins and they can see everything. They can see all the members, they can chat with members, they can see all the recordings, they can see all the experts, they can see all the discussion channels, everything's there. But it can be overwhelming to set up. And I think often we, you know, try to get everything perfect before we get it out there and actually start selling. So I would say keep it simple and start small, and you can always change. And I've migrated communities 3 times now into 3 different platforms. So it's hard, but it can be done. And then, like, in terms of our tech stack, so Mighty Networks is most of it, but then we'll also use things like Adevent and Humanitics for our events, Calendly for our, you know, check-in calls, MailChimp, we send out a member newsletter every Friday. We do still have the closed Facebook group because we know while it's dying, people still, that's like a very engaged group. We don't use Slack because Mighty Networks has discussion channels in there. But yes, you just want to kind of map out your tech stack and what are the different things you're going to use, and probably also how much does everything cost, because it's not expensive, but they do add up. The next thing, Linda, I'll come back to your question at the end. So the next thing is onboarding and offboarding. I think this is super important, and it's been a big thing for us with One Roof. How you kind of connect with your members that first time, or your customers or whoever it is, the kind of first time they join your community. We do, you know, a series of emails once you sign up to make sure that you follow the onboarding process. We have a video of how to use the platform. We have a link so you can book a welcome call with our team. So you actually get to meet someone from our team and meet other new members. We send a welcome pack. So we partner with a social enterprise called Metal to send out this beautiful gift pack. I think all of that kind of sets the tone of like, wow, this is a community that cares about me right off the cuff. I've definitely joined communities in the past where it's like, cool, I'm a member and I've paid a lot of money now, but like, you know, what's happening? Who's here? I haven't met anyone. Yes, and I think you've got to also just remember, people don't read everything. People miss things, but you have to over-educate over and over and over again. We find ourselves educating all the time. Here's how to use the platform. Here's how you book the call. Here's how you do this thing. Did you know that you can, you know, so and so? And often people are like, wow, I had no idea that you offer all of these things. So education on how to use your community is crucial. I've also found that offboarding is really important. Over the years, I've realized that, like, I've actually saved a lot of members when they've wanted to leave, because I jump on a call with them and ask them, and at least if they leave, I get feedback on why. And also, if they leave, they often leave going, oh, wow, like One Roof's not right for me, or I just didn't have time, but what a great community. I'm still going to refer people in. So I find that offboarding can take time, especially if you do one-on-one, like you can automate it. But it's actually, I think we've saved a lot of potential churn over the years through that offboarding experience. And someone usually offboards because they're like, I didn't engage with anything. And then when you talk to them, it's like, oh, I had no idea that you do all these things. So that's onboarding and offboarding. Community guidelines, we set that really early on. I think it's important in terms of who you target and who you don't. We are open, and so we're for women entrepreneurs, but we have had men join over the years, and most of the time it's been great. We did have one guy who joined and literally in our Facebook group was just kind of selling his services over and over again, and it was incredibly jarring, especially because it was a guy. And so you've really got to have these good guidelines for yourself and for if somebody's not the right fit, for how to kind of ask them politely to move on. The other thing is we recently realized that we needed to have what we call now promo Wednesdays. So there's like a targeted post every Wednesday in our Facebook group where people can promote their services, because we were finding that in the private Facebook group, which is a highly engaged Facebook group, the cold selling is jarring and people don't like it, and then it makes them want to leave. So we've changed the community guidelines so that people can only sell their offering every Wednesday in the comments of that promo Wednesday post, or we've got a dedicated discussion channel in our member portal, and Spark probably also has similar with Slack channels. Like you can have that dedicated channel so no one feels like they've been attacked or they're being like hard, sold to. The same, we have very strict guidelines around not privately messaging members and hard selling to them, because that's just not the ethos of what we're doing. So then you want to think about the value that you will provide. The value is crucial. Like you can't just create a community and say, we all care about climate change and sustainability, let's chat. I mean, you can do that, but it's hard to kind of keep the momentum going without being able to offer value. And like Spark and One Roof, the value is very much in the discussion channels, in the masterclasses, in, the different ways that you can connect in with community, especially because we know that entrepreneurship can be quite a lonely process. So and we when we first went digital, we actually wrote out like the buffet of like, here are all the things we're going to offer, here's all the value that we're going to provide, so that we could be really clear when when members signed on. Campaigns and marketing, this is a huge one. So if you are building a membership like Spark and One Roof, the hardest thing I would say about it is that you're always selling. Like there's never an on and off. It's not a program with a start and finish. It's like you can join the community anytime. And I found that there are people who might watch us on socials for literally years before they actually join. And one of the biggest things we learned was running marketing campaigns. And we've got some great kind of videos on this in our member portal. But the idea is that we run a campaign at a particular time of year when we know seasonally it's like a good time where people tend to sign up. So that for us is end of financial year, the new year, or if we run a big conference. And the campaign will have specific assets and like a theme and a discount and a time frame, which is the most important thing to allow, to encourage urgency to get people to sign up. And so we now kind of set up our year based on the masterclasses we're going to run, the big events we're going to run, and then the marketing campaigns that we do. So we know when we can plan more for revenue, when it's going to be higher, when it's going to be lower. And we do everything around those marketing campaigns. And I think if you've got a paid community, that is really crucial to create urgency for people to sign up and also to create hype around the membership. Feedback from members, we've already talked about this. This is really crucial. This has informed so much of what we do at One Roof. We're constantly asking for feedback. We, as an example, over the years, we kept getting this feedback that, hey, I'm an established business owner and I keep being put in a room with people at the start and it's not quite the right room for me. And I think you need to set up something separate for established business owners. So we actually recently, like a few weeks ago, launched Inner Circle, and that is literally connecting women, and it's a separate tiered membership connecting that runs for a year, and it's connecting women to their inner circle effectively, or their advisory board of women founders at similar stages, to meet every fortnight and work through business challenges. So it's that concept of women's circles, or your forum group. We've tested it many times. We've had over 200 people go through the program in the last couple of years. And then we constantly keep getting feedback so we can keep iterating and making sure that it makes sense for our members. Partnerships and collaborations. So this has also been a huge one for us. It's actually been everything in terms of how we've built the community. Partnership, that could be partnering with members, so doing stuff with members, or partnering with other organizations that have big networks of women entrepreneurs and running big events together, getting people on as speakers. Danielle and I will share at the end, our partnership. And I think just on that, the beautiful thing is that, I think there's an amazing way to be able to partner with people that might look like competitors, like Spark and One Roof, similar, different but similar memberships for women entrepreneurs. And what a beautiful way that we can find opportunities to support one another, speak at each other's masterclasses, and collaborate on our membership offering, because we know that we're all out to do the same thing and achieve the same goal, and it's so much better to collaborate on it. So I think there's a real magic in being able to find the collaborations, and you always benefit. One partnership that has served us really well, that's not easy to do but has been really good, is corporate sponsorship. It's taken me a long time to work out how to do it, and even then it still has its ups and downs. But what I've found over the years is when we have low revenue, like times of low revenue, we try to support the business with corporate sponsorship. And usually how that works is it's an organization that supports small business owners or wants to support more women in startup, or more women. And so they pay One Roof to, for instance, Squarespace has paid us to run masterclasses for the community, or Vistaprint paid us to help them run this program for women small business owners, to really showcase their commitment to, supporting women small business owners. Or Stellar Insurance sponsored a big event that we put on, and then paid for 20 women founders with 1 year of annual membership with One Roof. So, and I can talk more to that if anyone has questions on it, but I think that is a hard approach, but a really valuable one if you do get a corporate who can sponsor, who is interested maybe in your Facebook community of 560 people for whatever reason. You've really got to think about who are the companies and corporates that care and that want to buy into it. But that's a great way to boost your revenue and have alternative revenue streams if it works. The last thing I wanted to mention was engaging with members. So not just asking them for feedback, not just like checking in with them and saying hi, but actually getting them involved in the community building. So some examples of how we've done that is we've got an ambassador program. We've got 35 women around Australia who run at least 4 meetups a year in their local area. And that is huge for us. We're a very small team. Everyone works part-time. And so it is literally impossible for us to be and we've got members across the country. We can't go everywhere to run in-person meetups. And we know that in-person is important to complement the online, and we know people want to network in person. So we've been able to support our ambassadors. We run regular kind of check-in calls with them, training sessions, gave them a nice welcome pack when they became an ambassador, gave them this great book around how to, the art of gathering, like did all these really nice things, and constantly promoting them and profiling them and checking in on them so that they feel really supported and they see the value of being a One Roof ambassador. We also get our members to speak, in masterclasses. We get them involved in writing content at events. So again, there's lots of great kind of engagement with the members in that respect, and lots of members want to do talks. So, and it's like a real win-win for all of us. The other thing that we've just launched is what we call portal queens. And so we've got a group of people who are actually there to constantly check in, comment, engage with what our members are doing in the portal, because we know that if a member posts a question to the community in our member portal and they get crickets, they're not going to post again, and it impacts the community building. So we've got kind of an ambassador program for our portal where we're, offering discounts to the membership and then encouraging members to actually post, comment, share, like, interact. And it's amazing because the portal can literally just like automatically count, this person has commented X number of times or engaged X number of times. So there's a really easy way for us to be able to cross-check that. So that's also working really well. That was a lot, and I could say more, but I think I'll just leave it there, and I might just hand over to all of you to see what questions you have or comments or anything you want to share.
That was so fabulous, Sheree. I literally have a page of notes going on here. So thank you so much. But yeah, everyone come off mute, drop a question in the chat. Sheree is a wealth of knowledge. So let's use this time.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on Linda's question. So Linda said, what are some achievable goals around ROI? Are all communities money makers? What are the criteria to consider when deciding to change or not? I'm not sure what you mean by change or not. You can tell me. But as I said, not all communities are money makers. They don't need to be. They might be, charge or not. Got it. Sorry. It does say charge and I read it as change. They don't need to be money making. They can be ways, and Keep It Cleaner is that great example where they're building community. They're not charging. It's like, you join up to the run club and it's kind of first come, first serve. And then there's a wait list. If you don't make it in, they're not. And you might run lots of events as a way of building community. And for the most part, and Danielle will probably say the same, I don't think you can make much money on events. It's very hard to make money on events, but it's great for marketing and it's great for community building because you're getting people in person, interacting, sharing. In terms of ROI, I guess it depends on what your goal is. But, you might say, I'm going to run 4 events a year. And I remember I was mentoring someone recently on this. She had an amazing business, but, she was running all of these virtual events to build community, but then and it worked through COVID, but then over time, only like a few people were showing up, and it didn't seem like it was directly translating to sales. She has her business is Sanaya Cup, so it's a menstrual cup based in Singapore. And so I was like, that's a waste of time. Like, why are you still doing it? And you're doing it every single week and you're paying somebody to turn up and host it. So I guess it's thinking about what are the activities you want to do, whether that's a Facebook group, whether that's events, whether that's like creating a whole portal and member experience. And then what do you want to get out of that? If you're wanting a certain number of people to join your database, like you just want to increase your mailing list, or you just want X number of people to attend the events. And then from there, you can kind of upsell from events into the next thing that you're offering. It kind of depends on, what it is that you're hoping people will do as the next step in order to create that ROI. But you can create an ROI around the number of people who will buy your service or your program or your workshop or your product. And Linda, let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that.
No, thanks, Sheree. That's wonderful. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Tanya, how did you find your first members and inspire them to sign up? Excellent question. So when I first started the business, as I said, I started it as a co-working business. I had no funding to build a co-working space. Like, how was I going to sign a lease? People sign leases for 10 plus years, fit it out. Like, we're talking, millions of dollars. So it was like pretty funny that I thought I was going into co-working. And so I realized that we just had to find a kind of low cost, lean way of testing it. And so what we actually did in the very beginning was we rented an Airbnb mansion in Melbourne, and we turned this woman's house into a pop-up co-working space for a week. My ex-business partner was a strategist at Isobar. So she and I'm, as I said, an ex-lawyer. So I had no idea how to do websites or like anything. So luckily I had her, and she created a basic website on Squarespace, and we could take ticket sales. And then we partnered with lots of different organizations. So that was literally like reaching out to our friends. At the time, it was like One Giant Mind, the owners of One Giant Mind, Y Gap. I had met someone, I did a women's leadership course, and I'd met someone who was a partner at Pitcher Partners, which is a big accounting firm. And I reached out to and someone at NAB, and I just reached out to them and I was like, hey, do you want to sponsor this? Hey, do you want to run an event in the space? And so we ended up having all these partnerships where like we even actually had Verity and Hannah, the co-founders of Lovely, which they've now sold for 35 million. They'd literally just started, and they came as speakers for this women's networking event, and like had them right at the start of when they'd built their business. And that just brought in a whole community of people. We also literally, like, it was as simple as me sending an email to 100 people I knew and just saying, hey, I've started this thing. It's called One Roof. It's a pop-up space. Buy a ticket for a day or a week, come and join, share it with your friends. I'm pretty big on that. Like, you don't need to spend money. You just kind of need to hustle a bit and ask people in your immediate network, in your Spark community, in any other community that you're part of, to share, to come along, offer a free ticket, offer a discount. And that's kind of how you start. Once I then built the co-working business, and then that pretty much fell over, and we were forced to vacate the co-working space, and lost our members, lost our revenue, and then had to start again and start from online. I then went out to everyone in our database, all our members, everybody who'd hosted an event in the past at the co-working space. And I was like, hey, we're going online. This is what we're doing. Join our founding membership. And so they got this ridiculous discount that they would get for the lifetime of joining if they signed up by X date. And that's another way that you could do it. Like, what's a founding membership offer that you could have that's only, it's not public, it's just going privately to an exclusive group of people? And then who can you collaborate with? And I always come back to that. Who can you host an event with? They're going to bring their own people to it. Can you do a series of events that are low cost and easy to do, and then upsell at the end of those events to join your membership or your offering or whatever you're doing? I think, as I always say, don't see events as money making, see them and try not to lose too much money on events. But if you can use them to upsell people onto the next thing or get their emails or, those kind of things, they're great for hype building and content and community, and hopefully getting people to the next part of your sales process, which Danielle can talk to better than me. Other questions? Does anyone want to share anything about what they're doing or what they're thinking of doing with community building?
I thought, I can't remember who said it, but someone was saying they need to re-energize their community.
I think that was Anushi. Yes. So I guess it'd be great to know. So you're the founder of Misty. I've read a lot about Misty Anushi, developing Australia's first nebulizer mask. Hello,
How are you?
Nice to talk to you. I've definitely interacted and seen your business a lot over the last few years, so nice to see you. So what's happening at the so I guess, what was the goal of the Facebook group, and what's happening now?
Yeah, so I started it in the middle of the pandemic, when I guess I was banging my head against the problem. And initially I kind of set it up as a lifestyle group, and just was sharing content about, everything that happened in my life and all the random stuff. But then it became really focused around kind of this, Misty's focused around respiratory issues and parents in particular. So there's a lot of content around parents and I guess the things that, they're doing. But I've also used that channel to kind of get feedback. But I haven't really looked at it from the perspective of conversion or really monetizing. That was not never in my mind. But it was more, it went from I guess my immediate tier to kind of couple of tiers, and they kind of refer people. But at the moment it's pretty much really quiet, and I'd want to kind of re-energize it a bit, but I'm not really sure. I don't really have a big strategy on what to do. But I know they are key, they are hungry for content as well. Yeah, thanks.
And that's okay. And just one other question. Are you selling the nebulizers? Do you have something that you can sell to them?
It's on pre-orders at the moment. So we can, there has been few people that came through there and filled our survey, and they've interviewed a few people from the community. And actually some of them have bought that. There are some pre-orders that have come through. So it's not really true that it's a zero return on investment. But it wasn't really my intention to kind of do it that way. But I can, there is a mechanism by which I can convert, more pre-orders to come through from that community. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think like having a free open Facebook group, especially if you're not selling community, if you're selling a product or something else, is really good, because it's a great way to build a pipeline of people who you know are interested, and you've just got to keep them engaged so that you can every so often say, hey, pre-orders are open. If you're interested, or use it for the feedback, for the connection. So yeah, I think it's kind of you've just got to weigh up how much time is it taking for you. Can I reinvigorate this community? Is it valuable for kind of possible lead gen and being able to convert people into paying customers? There might be some creative ways of thinking about how to interact with them a bit more, even setting up like scheduled posts where it's like, and we've done a lot of that. So it's like, and I've seen other communities do this. So, I don't know, like let us know, haven't heard from everyone in a while. Let us know who's here and what you do and why you're here, or let us know what you think about this topic. So often I find asking questions of the community and getting engagement is really important.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I guess it's also, why do you think people have joined the Facebook group? And then it's just constantly talking to that reason why they're there. It can be low touch, and there is a scheduling function in the Facebook group, and it's easy to just schedule questions, schedule posts, schedule things, articles, things that are going on. But I find that if you're not, as the lead of the Facebook group, if you're not posting minimum once a week, I would say that's not enough, like twice a week minimum, it's going to drop, because it needs a facilitator. And I actually realized I didn't talk to this point, which I had on the slide, which was team and resources, because I think that's crucial. It's needing someone who holds the space. So yes, you want everyone to be able to interact with each other, and you want it to kind of fly without you. And, we've seen people creating their own meetups because they're OneRoof members without us, and that's amazing. But if we just take a step back and be like, cool, you all work yourselves out, it will eventually die. It has to have someone constantly holding space, constantly interacting, and making sure that, the community feels heard, feels seen, and that, you're asking questions to keep people constantly engaged.
Love it. Thanks, Sheree.
See. Okay, Tanya, I have a Facebook group and want to transition them into the membership portal, free and paid levels. Any ideas? Awesome. It's not hard to do that. It might take just a bit of time of thinking about how you do it in the process. Some ways that you can, and the Community Collective does have some great articles on this, and on their website, of how to do these things. But one thing you could do is put a survey out that you get your Facebook group to fill out. And from there, you can say, hey, everyone, when you're ready, you make this announcement. Hey, everyone, based on your feedback and what the community has said, it's very obvious that people want more than just this Facebook group. So we've heard you, and we're doing this because this is what you've asked of us. And so we've now launched this membership portal. There are both free and paid levels. You decide whether you want to keep the Facebook group. So like in our circumstance, we kept it because it's so engaged, even though we want everyone in the portal, and we know that the Facebook group takes people away from the portal. It's just so hyper engaged that we don't want to lose that engagement. So you might want to keep the Facebook group, but make it closed, or you might want to set up a new Facebook group, or because it's free, you might want to end it. But I actually think if it's free, it's still a good pipeline generator where you can just keep saying to the community, hey, reminder, we've now got this membership option, sign up to the free or sign up to the paid one here. And you transition it, and you might say you need to do it by X date. If you're going to close the Facebook group, we're closing this group by X date. Here's the benefits that you're going to get. If you have questions, you might want to do things like do an Instagram live where you can answer questions about it, do a Facebook live in the group where you can talk about it. Do some like showing of videos of like what the portal looks like and what you're going to get. So it's really like, it's like a launch campaign. You're kind of taking people on a journey to get them to move away from the Facebook group into your portal. And yeah, I think if you do the survey, it's a really good way of being like, you've spoken, we've listened, and now this is why we're doing this next phase. Pleasure. Anyone else have anything they want to ask or share? Yeah, I will also say, like, the Community Collective, they are an amazing organization, and they teach you kind of, it's a program teaching you community building. And, yeah, I think Paz has done a really good job of that. So if you really want to kind of nail your skills as a community builder or community person, I think programs like that can be really useful. Awesome. Yeah. And Tanya can tell you more about it. So she's in week 2.
How good. Well, you are absolutely amazing, Sheree. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and wisdom and journey with the Spark community. And I guess on that note, it's probably time for us to demonstrate to everybody how partnerships and collaborations can work. So yeah, we are very excited to announce that One Roof and Spark are joining forces. So for anyone on the call who is not a One Roof member or not a Spark member, so I know this masterclass was open to anybody, for the next 30 days, we're doing a little buy one, get one free action. So you can join One Roof and you will get a free Spark membership.
Yay.
So, I mean, look, now is the time, right? And what I love is, so I have been a woman in business for about 12 years now, and I'm personally, and very open about this, part of multiple women in business memberships, because I do find that we are all a little bit different. We all have a little bit different vision, mission, focus, definitely different members. So I know personally I get different things out of each membership that I'm a part of. So exactly how Sheree described it at the start, it makes sense to collaborate, right? So for us as businesses, but also for you guys as members to make the most out of every membership that is available to you as well.
Yes. And yeah, Danielle, it's so wonderful to collaborate with you. And I will say, when a collaboration feels easy, like this one, it's just so easy, you're like, it's right, it's the right kind of collaboration. Shared vision, shared values. It just flows. So we're very excited to announce it, and also just to show, that the importance of collaboration in an industry. I think that's a really important lesson and value that we have, that Danielle has, that's important for all kind of women entrepreneurs to know that, I think collaboration over competition is just like, that's how you can propel your business further in success. Linda asked, do existing Spark members get a discount? And absolutely, on both sides, there'll be a separate link. If you're an existing Spark member, there'll be a link to join One Roof at a discount at half price, or if you're an existing One Roof, there'll be a discount to join Spark at half price. And yeah, like you'll see that there's differences, there's similarities, and the value is in, these communities and getting this support and all the different masterclasses and the ability to connect with so many different women entrepreneurs. I think that's, like, over the years for me, I put all my success. Yes, there was hard work from me over the years, but also it's people who open doors for you, and it's the networking and the connections, and that counts for everything. And that's you putting yourself out there. So I think these communities are crucial. Not that I'm biased or anything,
Yeah. No, it's good. We have drunk our own Kool-Aid here. And that's it. So from a logistics point of view, after this session, we will be getting all of the links. So as Sheree said, if you're an existing member of either community, you'll get a separate link. If you're not a member of either community, there'll be a special link for you as well. So we will make sure that not only this recording goes out so you can dive back into anything, but if you do want to take advantage of the offer, you are more than welcome to. We would love to have you.
Amazing. Thanks, Danielle. Thanks for having me. And thank you, everyone, for sharing and contributing. And it was a really awesome session. I loved it.
Awesome. And we will also have everyone's contact details as well on the email. So if there was any questions that you were a little shy to ask today, we will make sure that you're fully supported as well after the session.
Amazing.
Thank you again, Sheree, and I hope everybody has an absolutely incredible rest of your day and week, and we will see you inside One Roof or Spark soon.
Yes. Thank you. Bye, everyone.